Hello friends. In my last session and in fact that was the session 1 of the investor awareness program, I told you and I explained how people lose money in the equity. In this session, basically I'll explain and I'll try to make you understand some basic rules of investing in equity. I do not basically want that investor, especially the retail investor, they lose their hard-earned money. सो आप सब लोगों से मेरी आग्रह है कि आप इसे सुने और प्लीज़ ज़रूर फॉलो करें. आई एम श्योर शायद ये कुछ बेसिक रूल्स हैं जिसको आप फॉलो करेंगे तो आप शायद पैसे ना गंवाएं. आई कैनॉट गारंटी यू बट दिस विल हेल्प यू to at least not lose money, and you can make steady money in the equity market without a lot of tensions. And so let's start quickly of the first basic rule of investing in equity. The first basic rule is, if you are a weak heart person, I mean when I say weak heart person means if you are not able to absorb a shock of short term ups and downs in the equity, then basically you are not meant to invest in equity. I'm sorry to say that, but at the same time, I do not want to discourage you. But if you invest in equity and tomorrow it's 20% down, and if you really get panic, I suggest you do not get into it. Put your money in bank deposit, sit back, relax, and enjoy your life. Don't get into the equity. That's the first advice. Second advice is, when you come into the equity, you've got to have some patience. आपके पास धीरज होना चाहिए मार्केट में यदि आप इन्वेस्ट करते हैं. कोई शॉर्टकट नहीं है पैसे बनाने का. There is no shortcut to make money in equity. Do not consider or do not try, do not think that you can make millions or fortune out of equity market overnight. It doesn't happen. So patience is the key. If you don't have a patience, there's no point coming to the equity. So if you think that you invest today and you sell tomorrow, or maybe in a month or in 2 months, and you make good money, it's possible that 1 or 2 of the scripts you buy, you make good sum. But at the same time, it may happen that 8 out of 10 you make a wrong trade and then you lose money. So if you basically you are into the equity market, invest it with patience. Have patience. Let the shares give you some return over a longer period of time. So there is a saying, in equity market, the money flows from the impatient hand to the patient hand. So I suggest you not to be impatient while you are investing in an equity market. Once again, I suggest that when you invest, you always invest in a large cap, mid cap, and small cap companies. After certain research, we will talk about how do we recognize the fundamentals of the company, how do we read the balance sheets, how do we some basic thumb rules of understanding about the companies and the valuations and all in my subsequent session. So the basic and the very important is, do not buy penny shares. When I say penny shares, like 1 rupees, 2 rupees, or 3 rupees, or 5 rupees shares. And especially when you get some unsolicited messages like the emails or the SMSs or some friend tips. So do not do that. The penny stocks will not give you a return. Rather, it will spoil your basically the you can say the mood, or you will lose your hard-earned money. So I will not advise you to get into the penny stocks. So remember, very important, it's called buy right and sit tight. So if you have bought a good stock, quality stock, you do not need to bother about 2 months or 3 months or 5 months there has been uptrend or downtrend. you look for like 3 years, 4 years, 5 years. So you buy basically good quality stocks, and with a certain return in your mind. If the bank FD gives you 5% or 6% net of taxes, once again I repeat this, if you get 10, 11%, 12%, and even 15% in equity market in some of the scripts over 5 years, 6 years, 10 years time, you are a brilliant man, and you should just stick to it. Okay, do not try to think of 30%, 40%, and 50%. And that's the moment you try to think of it and you become greedy, the market will punish you very badly. The fifth one is never invest out of borrowed money. So if you think generally what happens when the market is growing and the market is in a bull run, everybody gets you can say greedy. So there is a euphoria that that the market and these rates will not be there tomorrow, and this is called something called, you must have heard, the fear of missing out, that is FOMO, FOMO. So while you are basically afraid of FOMO, it should not happen that you should have a regret of missing out. So don't get into that FOMO mode. The market is there, you will always get a good opportunity to buy a quality shares. Never just try to just buy in a bull market when the market is on its high, or some of the scripts are already at the multi-years high or the year high, and then perhaps you are buying it and then it starts correcting and then you don't get out of it. So perhaps you buy it, you get stuck, and then you try to average it out, you borrow the money, you take from friends, you take from the banks, and you try to put in the again money, and then the market starts correcting, and then you lose your sleep, you lose your patience, you get irritated, you lose your hard-earned money. I simply request you guys, प्लीज आप लोन के पैसे इन्वेस्टमेंट मत लगाएं, आप दोस्तों के उधार पैसे मत लगाएं, आप एफडी तोड़ के बैंक इसमें इंश्योरेंस में आप पैसे इक्विटी में पैसे आप मत लगाएं। आपको कुछ नहीं मिलने वाला, आपकी जो रातों की नींद है वो खराब होगी, आप रात भर यही सोचते रहेंगे कि भाई कल क्या होगा, परसों क्या होगा। सो इफ यू आर इन्वेस्टिंग फ्रॉम योर डिस्पोजेबल इनकम, you will be happy about it. Choose the right stock, invest from the disposable income which you do not require it for at least for the next 4-5 years, and then be happy. So my next one is, as I explained you, that when I say disposable income, let me tell you that let's say you have net saving of, let's say, 100 rupees, and you can easily put 20% of that in the equity market. So let's say that even 20 rupees आपको जरूरत नहीं है अगले 3-4 साल 5 साल के लिए. So if tomorrow there is no urgency for those 20 rupees, so you put only that 20 rupees. You don't put the entire 100 rupees in a view that the market will grow tomorrow and my 100 rupees will become 200, and you can get out of this very quickly by making 100%. Don't do it. While you will try to do it, you never know how market behaves, and perhaps that 100 will become 20. So I'll advise you that don't do that. So if you are investing out of your disposable income, you will be happy forever in your life, tension free, no risk of blood pressure, sugar, and diabetes and all. So and you will have the problem in your house too when you start losing the money, because that will show you in your personal relation, in your behavior, and that will really make you irritated. मैं नहीं चाहता हूँ कि आप लोग इस तरीके की हरकत करें और आप जो है ऐसे चक्रों में फंसे और आप जो है इस तरीके से आप पैसे लूज करें. My next one, the number 7, always look to invest and be in the market for 5 to 10 years. Okay, if you have a long-term vision, you can make money. If you have a very short-term vision, I bet you will not be able to make money. If you are lucky, perhaps you will make money once or twice. But what happens if you are lucky once or twice? You'll make money, but For the rest of the eight times out of 10, you will lose money, and that's it. And that's the start of basically panic, and that will trigger so many other things like breaking your FD, taking loan, and approaching the friends, and trying to average out of the stock, all the things which I have told you in the past, and that's basically a disaster for you. Please do not do it. Number 8, if you are an investor, remain an investor. Do not try to be a trader, and try tracking and looking at the stocks every day. When I say don't try to look at the stocks every day, I do not say that you should not look about and look for your company and track your company. You do that, but when you invest it, of course you are doing some background checks, and you're talking about the company. You have heard about the company, you have done some basic evaluation, and then you are investing it. So there is no point in basically looking for on a day-to-day basis. Don't do it. Let it be invested for a long time. So you should have a confidence that you have bought a fundamentally strong shares. This company has been in the market for last 25-50 years. This will remain in the market for another 5-10 years or 50 years and forever. Okay, so you should not be bothered about. It's a short term where the money can go up and down. The market can go up and down, and accordingly it can behave. Your investment can fluctuate, but do not bother about. So I tell you, do not become a trader by tracking your stocks every day. So what happens, the moment you make some profit on a daily basis, you will become greedy and you will try to sell it out. And then you try to buy some another stocks, which is perhaps not performing, and you do not know why it is not performing. So, and then you sell the one which is performing and you buy the one which is not performing. And perhaps the one which is not performing will remain non-performer for over a period of time, and perhaps it's going down the barrel. So please do not do it. Remain an investor, buy right, and as I told you, sit tight. Do not bother about the short-term panics here and there. Do not get trapped by some advice which you get here and there. There are many advice these days coming on, on every day you watch some of the TV shows which gives you the hot stocks and 20% upper circuit kind of stocks, or so many things. So if you are an investor, please do not get into all this. Always buy a share which has been growing steadily over a period of time, and you always remain investor there. Please do not ever try to trade by some of the tips which you get from anywhere, whether it's media or your friends or your the unsolicited messages. I really, trust me, you should not be doing it. You should not be doing it. What I have told you, there are some basic rules I have explained you, but you can call them as a golden rules. If you follow these rules, you can really make money. And the 10th one, do not try to switch over from one stock to another stock very frequently. It's like you are in a queue. If that queue is longer, you try to shift to the other queue, and that queue is shorter, so you get into that queue. By the time you get there, that takes some more time, or it gets longer, and there also again you try to switch over. So basically what I'm trying to tell you is, if you are not making money in one stock for a couple of months, do not try to basically sell it and buy some another stock, unless otherwise you have really very strong information that there is something wrong with the company, there is something wrong with the economy, and this stock will not perform over the 1 year or 2 year period of time, and you should get out of it. Okay, one of the basic thing, when you invest in an equity, just basically as a thumb rule, when any share you buy, if it goes down by 10%, you got to think about that stock. How blue chip that stock are is not a problem. Okay, you got to think about it, why it is falling down. You need to basically investigate. If everything is fine, you can still remain with it, because that's a technical it's a technical downfall and all, the time correction and all, that will be overcome over a period of time. But if it is really some problem, and if it has fallen 10%, if there's with some strong reasons behind it, I'll suggest you that you please get out of it. Let that share stabilize in the market, perhaps at the same level or even at the lower level, and then you re-evaluate it whether you should again re-enter into it. Okay, and then you try to buy the same share, or if you are looking to buy some another, try to buy the another one. But do not try to switch over the stock very frequently. That will not help you. So guys, this was the today's session for the 10 basic rules of investing. You call it the golden rules, and you must, every investor, my this, you can call it this information, मैंने मुहिम छोड़ा हुआ है कि retail investors के लिए, the way I lost some money, and the retail investor को पैसा नहीं lose करना चाहिए. और शायद आप हमारी लेक्चर और ये सेशन आगे सुनेंगे, आपको बहुत फायदा होगा. And this is all I'm telling you from my experience. And I really tell you that I really don't want कि आप लोग पैसे lose करें मार्केट में. प्लीज़ इसे फॉलो करें, आप अपना रूल बनाएं और इसे वायलेट ना करें. मेरी गुजारिश है आप लोगों से. And I request you all the best. And we will talk more about the equities in my next session, that how to select some of the stocks, what are the parameters, and some of the more rules we will talk on this my next session. Till then, thank you, goodbye, sabakhair.